those books. Number one, you need to set up your altar to ThunderDog. Now, ThunderDog is a black man, a blue-black man that came from the Pinson Mounds in Jackson, Tennessee. He is the God concept, or he is the same form of Obatala, or the Most High, Suit, that touched down in the Indian nation, or excuse that word, that derogatory word, in the indigenous Western nation. His name is ThunderDog, and like I said before, he was responsible for killing them white people in that church about 2 months ago in Alabama. When we were on that mound and we made contact with that spirit, we blacked out the entire mound. And he came to us and said we must bridge the gap between the native, indigenous Westerns, and also the black people that either came from Africa or the ones that was in slavery. Because we had black people here before. But we must bridge that gap because some of our people sold them out with the Buffalo Soldier thing. In order to bridge that gap, then he has granted you prosperity. He has granted you, now this is the realm, he's just a conduit of the higher realm that is granting you what you have been begging for if you decide to do things. Now, I'm not coming to you telling you that you need to do this and I believe the children are the future and all that foolishness and all these doggone Negroes give you some old philosophical mess. I'm giving you straight up juice on what you can do if you are willing to do this. Now, to build your altar, you need something wooden. You need a yellow cloth, mainly something linen or something cotton. They don't, see, the spirits, the African and native spirits, they don't want no polyester now. Because remember now, they were people that was on the airplane like you. So therefore, they know the nice stuff that's down here. So they want cotton or linen or some type of indigenous fiber, maybe some silk. You see, but they want cotton or linen, maybe some silk. So you're going to take a yellow cotton cloth and you're going to drape it over the wooden, whatever it is, wooden table, wooden stereo speaker, anything wooden, but it's got to be wooden. Then you're going to get you a yellow and blue candle, maybe the 7-day candles. They even got 14-day candles now. But get the 7-day candles. You don't have to burn it all the time, keep it burning all the time. Just burn it on occasions, whenever you feel the spirit to do it. But you know, and never blow out a candle. Always, you know, don't blow out the candle because the spirits get mad. Then you're going to get you a plate. You're going to get you probably some popcorn kernels and some sunflower seeds or any kind of grain indigenous to this particular land. Then you're going to get a glass of water and you're going to put there. Then you're going to imagine an old Indian woman, a black Indian woman, putting her finger in it and blessing the water. Then you're going to get you something African, some cowrie shells, or eye of Heru, or ankh, or something, and you're going to make that union with the native spirits. Then you're going to write out a list to ThunderDog, which this particular ThunderDog is granted you whatever you want. You write it on that list and you put it on the altar. Now, the key to this whole thing is this. It's about like what you've been learning in church. God has all the power in the world, but then again, God has no power, which means is when your belief system is open, or your knowing, not belief, but knowing, gnosis, knowledge is open, and you know and you are assured, all the power can be granted. But if your trap door is closed because you don't believe or you don't think of anything and you're skeptical, then also the power comes in and it keeps bouncing off. So therefore, you can't get the juice. So therefore, what I'm trying to tell you is when you do these things and come rent time and you ain't got nothing, you can't be walking around here being all scared and saying, oh Lord, what is it? You got to understand and you got to stay sure on what it is, because the ancestors are tired of you begging and praying. You are the gods. So therefore, they want you to act accordingly. Okay? So build this particular altar and you will be blessed. One sister, we have already built these altars in Atlanta and all over, and brothers and sisters is riding high. And there was one sister that built it one day. 2 days later, she got $10,000 worth of student loans, all kind of grants, and everything you wanted to name. She got all, no, not loans, but grants. different things, paid education and everything for the time we're going to be on the planet. She's hooked up and some money in her pocket. But every time I get down to my last quarter, before that last quarter is spent, some other money is coming in. So I'm trying to tell you that this is what's being blessed, and this was supposed to spread across. So you need it. I got the brothers and sisters in Detroit doing it. I got you doing it. I got people all over the country that's listening to the tapes doing it. I got the brothers and sisters in Atlanta doing it. And also we're getting ready to kick this beast in the behind, and I got something else for you so you can do too. Because we coming for blood. Okay? Now, getting back to Atlantis. The original name for that Atlantis or Lemuria was called Al-Qamoria. Al, which means God. Kim, or Cam, that means black. Mor means Lord of the earth. So Al-Qamoria means God, black, Lord of the earth is what it means. Al-Qamoria is the original name coming from the cosmic realm, because I got a sister that's so bad. It's straight up. She goes straight to Sirius, and we get all the information we need. And I get my channeling comes by going in here and taking this stuff and going right to the pages and getting the juice out of the books. You see what I'm saying? And it saves me the time from reading all the books. I go straight there and get the juice. I go in the bookstores and go straight to the books and get what I want. I just run out of most books now, so you know. So I guess when I ran out of all the books now, I think it's time for the mothership to start coming. So now Al-Qamoria is the original land. Now, at this particular time, you did not deal with what you had in the mystery system. The mystery system was invented in Hemmitt after you fell, and after you fell closer and closer into the third dimension. See, at one time, when you first got here, you was radiating on a higher level of frequency, a higher level of spirituality. So when you see people born with a veil, and they can hear things and see things, that's only a tip of the iceberg of what you were. You was like, you say, Terminator. You had detailed files. So now, what had happened was this. You had the Godhead that you first got on the planet with, and you was communing with the Godhead. But part of you got trapped into this third dimension as the vibratory rate slowed down because you lost track of time. And as you lost track of time, the most primordial star Sirius fell behind the horizon, and you started calling that Lucifer. We'll get into that, but that is the light bringer, and it ain't got a damn thing to do with no devil with no pitchfork, because we're going to get into that today also too. Now, what had happened was, when you fell in, after so many thousands of years, your chakra centers shut down, and your third eye shut down. When your third eye and your chakra centers was open, the physical world was cloudy, and the spiritual world was clear. As your chakra centers shut down, the physical world became more visible, and the spiritual world became out of sight. It disappeared. So now not your third eye, but your first eye was open, that made you pick up science based on truth and not logic and reasoning, things that you adopted after your third eye or your spiritual centers, chakra centers, and the whole nine, your crown chakra, and all shut down. And this is the time that you were gods. At that time, you had to develop things like deductive reasoning, logic, mathematics, and all of these particular things. And this is when your mystery systems came into view. And you had to do these particular things. Now, we understand that even on our way down, when we stopped off on Hemmitt, it still stands as the model of civilization that the white man and no other civilization has ever been able to match. But remember, we know that we got to be gods. If our fallen state nobody can match, can you imagine what you were in your God state? Now, at this particular time, your spiritual centers was open. You had a communion direct with your other cousins. As your spiritual centers shut down and you got trapped in the third dimension and you couldn't see your people, your cousins, just like you. After this thing shut down and you could not see them, what had happened was you had to communicate with them through ritual. You understand? After this thing shut down, you started using the mathematics and all of the sciences and all to try to figure out what you used to have with cosmic memory. You just remembered it. It was like a big library in a computer. But it was the ultimate computer because it had detail files and there was no such thing as a floppy disk and a program. Your program was the cosmos, and because you had the black dots in them, that is melanin, the double helical structure of the DNA, which you had 12 strands of the Holy Kabbalah, at that particular time you had detailed files. And you had this, what is called cosmic memory. But as that shut down, you had to go on other methods as education. But we're talking now about going beyond that, because as you know right now, your scholarship is breaking down. There's no more that you can actually learn on the scholarly level. This is why the scholars are like redundant now. You can't let no, but see, this is not to make mockery, because see, they took you to a certain point. They did their job, and that's all they're supposed to do. But since we are the people that follow, we're such a leadership-prone people and always want to follow people, we made them into our doggone leaders and messiahs, so therefore when they couldn't take you on further, now you walking around all mad. But you turned them into those particular messiahs. Okay? But as you went to the history, you supposed to have gone on to the mystery. And this is where the science is breaking down, because now the mystery is so miraculous and you don't want to deal with the mystery because you scared of being laughed at the white man. But guess what? The white man don't deal with nothing but the mystery. This is what the secret societies have been ruling you with, is basically the mysteries and 33 degrees of that mystery that they got from you. You understand? White people ain't dealing nothing but that. You understand? So while you thinking it's some hocus pocus and all this kind of thing, because you still got to look scholarly, and I don't want to have scholarly suicide, which is a Eurocentric version of logic and reason, and you are a spiritual person, therefore you lose out. So at this particular time, you were radiating at the godhood. You didn't need the certain amount of mathematics and all this stuff, because at that particular time you had cosmic memory. And these are the times when you were gods. And at this particular time you didn't need the actual structures that you crying that you want the white man to give you back this particular land and these particular structures, because you didn't need that, because you were a part of the structure. You were a part of the cosmos. So you didn't need the things that you needed. So now are we going back to Hemmitt? Because as our earth goes in the 26,000 year cycle, you know, when it has a birthday, which is called the end of an eon or a great year, is at the end of the world, somebody else's world. And as the earth has a birthday and goes back to its original form, by you being the original people, you have a birthday and go back to the original form, and your original form was not Egyptian. Your original form was not Islamic. Your original form was none other than God's. And the actual books that they gave to the primitive man is nothing but a mirror of your mythology. Check? Okay, so now what we're talking about is raising you up is this. The reason why you can't get from up under this stuff, because you're thinking on a physical level on how you're going to defeat the beast, and how can you survive in the New World Order, or how can you survive when the earth goes into a fourth dimensional density. And your survival is becoming God, and this is why your vibratory rates is starting to change, and you're raising up to Godhood. You don't need anything. We're talking about total freedom from the physical plane. Now you think you're spooked out. I'm just giving you points of your history that you don't want to accept. Because it's far too easy to go to some doggone parties and tell somebody that you was an ancient Egyptian, but you never know how to do anything. And you can't beat the beast on the physical realm. You got to become God to fight the devil. Is the only way. This is the only way you get the devil off here is you got to become God. Now,